Today, I'm taking a look at the Mini Q2-D, a mini massage gun from Bob and Brad. .08 miles, 9 minutes, 1 second per mile, 140 beats per minute today. Going for a long but easy run today, getting in some recovery miles after a hard workout the day before. But it ended up being a pretty big weekend, 26 miles total for me. So a great time to be testing out a new massage gun. This one I've had for a couple of days now from Bob and Brad. Now, before I give you my thoughts on this massage gun, I do want to go over some disclosures. This massage gun is one that was sent to me for the purpose of review. However, they're not paying me to make this video or to use the massage gun, and they're not going to get a chance to preview any of my footage or my thoughts before you guys get a chance to see this video on YouTube. So with the disclosures out of the way, let's talk about the Mini Q2-D from Bob and Brad. Now, before I get into this specific massage gun, I want to talk about them a little bit more broadly in terms of why would you want to use a massage gun, especially from a runner's perspective. Now, while a runner might be able to use this as the only recovery tool that you're using, I think it works best when you're using it as part of a recovery toolkit. And so using the massage gun, as well as using a foam roller, as well as doing a lot of stretching, especially stretching and mobility work that you do after the run while you're still warm. Maybe not necessarily like while you're all sweaty and gross right after the run, but after your shower, take a couple of minutes if you can before you get too sedentary to do some stretching and mobility. I think all of those things put together can really help in making sure that you bounce back faster from your runs and you're able to continue training and without injury. I also used massage guns generally as something that really helped me from a rehab perspective as well. A couple of months ago, I was dealing with a runner's knee issue. In fact, that's how I found Bob and Brad, the two most famous physical therapists on the internet, in their opinion. In the first place, I was Googling and YouTube searching all my symptoms and trying to figure out what was going on and how I can fix it. Rest and reduction of mileage really wasn't cutting it, so I needed to do something else. And I found a whole bunch of their videos. They've got a giant channel with millions of subscribers and hundreds, if not thousands of videos, just so many videos. These guys have been on the internet for a long time. And they had so much useful information for me to be able to use, not only to kind of like self-diagnose a little bit, but also to work on some rehab exercises, but also some massage gun therapies that I could use to help my knee in particular. And one of the guns that I have reviewed over the last month has been the regular full-size Bob and Brad massage gun, and I really enjoyed this one. And after I made that video, Bob and Brad's team reached out to me and said, would I want to review this mini version? And while I'm a big fan of Bob and Brad, I was really skeptical about the size because I'd worked with some other mini massage guns before, and I felt like the benefit of the smaller massage gun to me was kind of minimal, especially now. I'm not going anywhere, but I do feel like that there was some trade-offs in terms of the power and some of the battery life. And so I was reluctant, but I thought, you know what? I really have been trusting Bob and Brad, and I wouldn't think that they would put their name on a product that didn't really work. So I said, all right, let's try it. So I received this massage gun probably about a week ago, and I've been using it every day since I got it. And I gotta say that I'm thoroughly surprised at how well this thing performs. First, let's talk about kind of what it can do. It's got 5 different speeds, which most of the massage guns have anywhere from 3 to 20 different like levels of intensity that the gun can go to. And this one has 5. You hold it, there's a button on the back to get it started, and you can cycle through all the power settings. It's relatively quiet, even at some of the higher settings. I usually use it at number 3, even up to number 5. It starts to get a little bit louder, but I actually don't mind this level of volume for this kind of device. And the thing that I found the most surprising is just how powerful this massage gun is. A lot of the smaller ones, when you really press in on them, you can get the motors to stall, but this one, no matter how hard I press in on it, I just can't get it to stall. It just keeps going. Even at some of the lower speeds, I can't get the motor to stall. It just keeps going. And so that's really helpful because you don't always necessarily want the fastest percussion. Sometimes you want deep percussion at a low kind of frequency. And so being able to really dig into your thigh or dig into your quads really is nice. And so I really am impressed that this motor can handle like me pushing down on it as hard as I can, because that's really where you're going to get some of that deep tissue massage that I really look forward to getting when I'm using a device like this. So let me turn it back off and we could talk about some of the other attachments. We've got the ball head here on it now. It's a little bit kind of soft. It's a really, really dense foam that goes in here. Really good for any of the larger muscle groups. And all these attachments come in a really nice case, and I'll show you in a minute after I'm done kind of going through all the different attachments. But the case is so small that the manual that came with it didn't fit inside. And that was like a nice trick to get me to actually look at one of these manuals. I've never looked at one of these manuals before. And on this one, I know Bob and Brad didn't write this one, but in this one, there are like examples of like which attachments you should be using or that this company wants you to use depending on which muscle groups you're working on. And it turns out I've been using these things wrong this entire time. So this soft head one, it's squishy. It's kind of like got a kind of like a crash pad in it. I usually like this one when I really want to dig deep into the muscle, kind of like I was showing you with my hand when I was trying to get this thing to stall but couldn't. That's when I feel like the softer head is really nice when you're trying to push deep down into the muscle and get a very deep tissue massage. That's usually when I like this. But looking through this, it seems like you can use it on your neck and arms, and it says PLAM. I don't know what PLAM is. But on this other page here, it says that you can use it on your abdomen. But it has a warning. It says the air cushion head attachment is recommended on the abdomen area and adipose tissue on the stomach. You can use it on your belly. But it says, please do not massage your abdomen immediately after dinner. According to the manual, I've been using this wrong, but I really like it still whenever I want to get, just kind of like really dig deep and push down into it. This one, I've also apparently been using wrong according to the manual. I usually like these kind of bullet style attachments on my hip. Like when I want to get into my hip joint, for me, when I do a lot of miles, higher intensity, either one of those kind of scenarios, my hip joint always tends to get really tight, and I like to stretch, kind of like throw my leg over my right leg over my left, and then really get in there with bullet attachments, because these are really dense plastic and they're kind of almost pointy. But this is saying that you should be using this on your foot, which I just would not want to use this on my foot. I usually reach for like the softest one that I can if I ever do put the massages on my foot. But that's where you're supposed to use this. But I do find either way, whether using it in your hip or on the foot, which I wouldn't use this on my foot, but in the hip, I find like this is smaller because it's a mini massage gun. All the attachments are just a little bit smaller. This one's like too pointy. So I find myself not really using this one at all. Then you've got this flathead one, which I use in scenarios that are very similar to like the air cushion one, because like the surface is very similar. But you know, this one is a little bit more dense. Now, every massage gun that I've reviewed always has this kind of like Y attachment to it, and I generally don't like them. My understanding of how you're supposed to use these is along, if you have an IT band issue, you're supposed to use it along the IT band. It doesn't really make much sense to me, and I'm not really sure that I don't have an IT band issue, so I couldn't really test it out to see if it gave me any relief. The other thing is, in this manual, there's 2 pages of diagrams of which attachments you're supposed to use on which body part, and nowhere in any of these diagrams does this thing show up. So I feel validated in that because I never use this one anyway. So those are the 5 attachments. They have nice little spots to sit inside the case, and then the case zips up like this fake carbon fiber kind of material. Zips up really nice, and it's even got a giant pull tab on it. So what's not to love about that? The case is kind of big and a little bit unnecessary. A bag I think would have been fine for these mini guns, because thinking, you know, I want them to be more portable, but I can always appreciate a case anyway. And here's where I think that like the case maybe is a better idea, because this is really dense. This massage gun, it's very heavy. It's much heavier than it looks, probably because it's got a pretty generous battery in it. I've been able to get 3 or 4 sessions out of it before I had to top it up on the battery. It charges by USB-C on the bottom. There's a USB-C to USB-A cable included in the package. No like wall wart thing, but you know, pretty much everyone's got one of those. So really easy to charge, very convenient for the portability factor that it's USB-C, but like really, really dense. And it's ergonomically, I'm not sure that I love like the shape of it. Now it's got like a little grip lower down here near where the power button is. So telling you like, here's where you put it, but it's kind of big. And I've mentioned this pretty much every one of these massage gun reviews that I do. I have small little hands. And so like none of them really seem to fit me very well unless it's a very like cylindrical shape. This one is kind of like, it's just big and a little bit bulky. So usually I kind of like find a position on my leg for it to go, and then I'll like palm it down. So it's not a huge deal that like the grip is kind of weird for me, but you know, I'm kind of like always fiddling with how I'm holding it. Not a huge deal, but getting the right grip, it can be important. So it's not a deal breaker for me for sure, but just a little bit kind of bulky is what I'll say. Overall though, I would say that I am thoroughly impressed with this mini gun. And it even makes me think like, do you really need the big one if this one is so good? Plus, the price on this one is just absolutely amazing. It normally goes for $90 on Amazon. As the time of this filming, there was like a $10 off coupon that you could just kind of click on Amazon to get it. So it comes down to 80 bucks. So 80 bucks for this mini but mighty massage gun. I think it might be my favorite. So those are my thoughts on the mini Q2-D massage gun from Bob and Brad. Let me know in the comments if you have any other questions, or better yet, I do a live stream every day here on YouTube, 3 p.m. Central Time. I'd love to talk to you guys there. That's all I have for today, everybody. Thanks so much for making it all the way to the end of the video. Hopefully you guys are staying safe out there on your runs, and I'll see you in the next one.
Yo, what's going on?